Okay, in the last video we left off with question number 28, and I had mentioned that the verb tried or try has to take an infinitive, but I began to think about it after I recorded the video, and really you could use a gerund as well. So economists have tried discouraging the use of the phrase underdeveloped nation and encouraging the more accurate phrase developed nation in order to suggest an ongoing process. And then I suppose then those would be parallel, and then choice A would be wrong. So I think they may have left the door open here for more than one right answer. So that, yeah, it seems to be, even though I think the infinitive seems to sound better to me, but I began to think about it. You can say I tried quitting smoking, or I tried skiing that hill. So you can definitely use a gerund. So it could also be choice A. So this one may have not passed the scrutineering of the TOEFL people. So anyhow, if you chose A, you may also have gotten that one right. Okay, let's move on to the next one. 29. A gas like propane will combination with water molecules in a saline solution to form a solid called hydrate. All right, and getting back to our, you should know a little bit about chemistry to figure out some of these. Not that, or the vocabulary anyways. You don't need to know how to do chemistry experiments, but the vocabulary definitely helps. So let's see here. A gas like propane. So A is okay. It's just telling you there is a gas which is like propane. This is actually a reduced subordinate clause. A gas which is like propane. So they have the same qualities. That's okay. Will combination, and I think that's a pretty easy one to catch. Will, and then you should probably have some sort of a verb, and the verb is actually combine. There it is, combine. So yeah, it's choice B. But let's look at the other ones just to be sure. This sentence should read: a gas like propane will combine with water molecules. Molecules are little small particles in the chemistry world, water molecules, in a saline solution. The word solution here is referring to a liquid. If you haven't heard of that use of it, it's a liquid. Saline just refers to having salt. Saline solution to form a solid, in order to form a solid. This is the goal. This is what it's trying to do. So C is okay. And then we have the noun, a solid. It's definitely a noun because you can see we have a determiner. A solid called a hydrate. This is a past participle being used as an adjective. It's common to have that, a solid which is called a hydrate. So this is another reduced subordinate clause. This actually have two of them. So anyhow, I don't think this one was terribly difficult. If you caught this noun after this modal verb, I think you picked it up pretty quickly. All right, let's move on. All right, number 30. Although it cannot be proven, presumable the expansion of the universe will slow down as it approaches a critical radius. Wow, all right, we've gone from chemistry to dealing with the universe, dealing with outer space. I'm going to tell you, this always seems to come up in the TOEFL. Let's take a look. Although it cannot be proven, this whole idea is fine. Yep, it cannot be proven. Some idea. This is the subject. This is passive voice. This is proven. This is the past participle of the verb prove. Proved, proven. So that's fine. Presumable the expansion. Oh, presumable. This is an adjective. Then we have a determiner and then a noun. Oh, this is already without even. You just know that this is an adjective. This is going to definitely make this noticeably wrong because we have this article here. This should be over here, if anything. But the actual solution, the actual fix is this actually should be the adverb presumably. Presumably, and then another comma. The expansion of the universe will slow down as it approaches a critical radius. Approaches is okay. It is the subject pronoun referring back to the universe. So that's okay. Yep, it should be presumable. Or maybe it is, although it cannot be proven, it is presumable that the expansion of the universe will slow down as it approaches a critical radius. Maybe that's the solution. But anyhow, you don't have to correct it. You just have to know that this is the problem, and it's choice C. And for vocabulary, critical radius, the radius is the distance between the center of the circle and the edge of a circle. So it's saying the universe is expanding in a circular pattern, and it will reach some point where it cannot go any wider. The radius cannot get any longer, and then it supposedly it's going to slow down, eventually stop, and then start to come back together, according to theory. I don't think we'll be around to see that, but that's it. That's what it's referring to. Critical means important, crucial. They call it, I think this is a term they use for astrophysicists, a critical radius. All right, moving on. 31. Regardless of your teaching method, the objective of any conversation class should be for the students to practice speaking words. All right, let's go through. Regardless of your teaching method, regardless of, this is a very commonly used combination, regardless used with this preposition of, regardless of your teaching method, meaning whichever teaching method you use is kind of what this idea is saying. The objective of any conversation class should be, that's okay. Yep, this is a modal, should, takes the base form be. It's correct. Be is okay, that's all right. For the students, oh, they're using that for the students, and then you have an infinitive, to practice, so that's fine. Remember we talked about that. It is important for students to arrive on time. In this sentence, the objective of any conversation class should be for the students to practice, so that's good, for with infinitive. And then we have speaking words, and really there's nothing grammatically wrong with this sentence. I kind of think that when they give these types of sentences, it's kind of a dirty trick, but what the error is, if you haven't noticed, is that it's D. I don't know if you've read about redundancy in the TOEFL test. Sometimes they'll put words together that have the same meaning or are unnecessary. Speaking already means expressing words, or expressing words orally. So the word words is unnecessary. This should be removed. It should just end with the word speaking, and that's the solution. Kind of a dirty trick, I think. But you're desperately searching for a grammar mistake, and then they do something like that. But there it is. So if you ever find a sentence and you're sure that you know all the grammar is correct, then take a look around for the vocabulary. There could be something strange in the vocabulary. All right, moving on. 32. A City University professor reported that he discovers a vaccine that has been 80% effective in reducing the instances of tooth decay among small children. All right. So let's check the answers. A City University professor said, okay, that he discovers, and remember, I even have the word, remember reported speech. When you say something in the past, generally the action, even if it's present tense, gets taken into the past. So the answer is A. It should be discovered. Discovered. Because this is reported in the past. And it makes sense because this probably happened, right? And then it says a vaccine, which is like a cure, that has been 80% effective. Well, this is already saying that this has been used. So this has to be in the past. So it's A. It's got to be A. So it needs to be discovered. Let's check B. That's a subordinate clause marker. Could have been which, but that's fine. That is perfectly fine. In reducing, remember we use prepositions with gerunds. In reducing. Effective in reducing. It's telling you what effectiveness this has. That's fine. In instances of tooth decay among small children, the word among is used when you have three or more things. I'm imagining we're definitely dealing with more than two children. I don't think they just tried it with two children. They probably tried it with hundreds. So among is good. So D is fine. Yep, it's A. Discovered. Should be discovered. That was an easy one usually. You catch the verb tense wrong. All right. 33. American baseball teams, once the only contenders for the World Championship, are now being challenged by either Japanese teams and Venezuelan teams. All right, let's take a look. Once the only contenders of the World Championship, and contenders here kind of means challengers, people who can achieve something. This is actually a reduced subordinate clause. So it says American baseball teams which were once the only contenders for the World Championship. So this is okay. Once here means at one time in the past. It's a very common usage. They also tend to use the word long in this kind of situation to mean, a long known fact, a fact that has been known for a long time. This is once the only contenders. At one time they were the only contenders, but maybe not anymore. So A is okay. Let's go on to B. Are now being challenged. So this is a passive voice, and it's in present progressive, so B is okay. Let's go on to C. Oh, by. Well, by always goes with, well, it doesn't have to always go, but it usually goes with a passive voice that sets up the, not the grammatical subject, but the agent, the theme subject, which would be the true grammatical subject if it were an active voice sentence. So B, by is okay, so C is okay. Either Japanese teams, there we go. You really, if you see the word either and there's a line under it, check and see if it has its correlative partner, I guess, if you want to call it that. A lot of these have partners. I've got some examples here. For example, both and that's what this D should be. It should be both Japanese teams and Venezuelan teams. That's what it should be. Both goes with and. Not only goes with but also. Either goes with or, and neither goes with nor. Those are commonly those are 4 examples. There are more, but these are the very common ones that you see on the TOEFL test. So anyhow, this one ends up being choice D. It should be both Japanese teams and Venezuelan teams. And we are just about out of time, so let's continue this on the next video.